Good afternoon, Scott Redler, T3 Live. Welcome to today's recap. So we had a very day in the market today. If you're a bull, sorry, I had to throw that in. It was a bet, and I lost a bet, so I had to go. Anybody know what country that's from or what movie? Well, anyway, you gotta have fun. It's the summertime, and that's what I'm looking to do here. You know, the market had a big up day after the volatility we saw Friday. And for some, that was good volatility, because you think about the move we had last week from SPX 1906 up through the 50-day. There were some people caught short, some people caught in, excessive hedges. So that way out was welcomed. And then if you took the way out, covered some hedges, stayed with some quality longs, you maneuvered the market well. And that's what we tried to do from the lows. You try and have a bunch of positions you like with the hedge if we're stretched, and then you sell some strength, cover some shorts, blah, 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 and you keep making moves. It's just funny. I'm sorry, I'm a little delirious today because I've had some fun on the Twitter sphere with people who, the bears who would still call for a 20% correction or a 15% correction or even 10% correction, that just don't know how to, change their view, or just those that just keep trying to, make these headlines and be extra smart and talk about how they know everything, and nobody knows anything. Okay, well, all you know is the market trades, and you have to measure levels and figure out what levels do things change. When does the trade go from neutral to positive to neutral to negative, or back from neutral to negative to neutral to positive, and then you look for relative strength, weakness, and use a tier system and execute, and then that's it. You become rich. Didn't you hear the market can make you rich? Very slowly. Well, anyway, with all that said, I'm just going to get to the charts because I'm definitely going to get myself in trouble here. So let's go to the SPX. Here's the thing, guys. Remember I said you go, here is maybe neutral. You break 1970s, 1970-ish to 21-day. Remember we talked about the 8 and 21-day, and then that's when you go neutral to negative, get out of some risk, maybe get short. You have an excessive down day, break 1950, break the 50-day, get a little follow through. Then you start figuring it out. What's going to happen here? Where are we going to hold? Are we going to hold the 100-day? We're going to see the 200-day. We're going to retest the breakout area of 1890-ish, which we did that Thursday night. And what happened is that Friday, all of a sudden, that tweet came out. Remember, everyone talked about the tweet that Russia was going to back off. But anyway, what happened there is you had your igniting bar. What does an igniting bar do? It ignites a potential new move. So hopefully you covered some shorts if you were thinking we're going to see 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Where's Faber? Anyway, didn't happen. Ignited, day and a half trade. And then the question was, would you see some commitment to this day and a half trade? So what do? You take out your trusty retracement rules and saying if you hold the top third of a big move, and that's what it was, right? Top third. So you know what? I got another little tool in my tool belt as if I am Batman. Anybody like Batman? Who likes Batman? Who likes Superman? I think they're going to fight soon in a movie. Anyway, doesn't matter. At this point, here's your retracement rules. What had happened here? You held the 38% retracement, meaning there's commitment to this move off the lows, and there you go. That's your maybe go from, let's see, is this a feeble bounce, to, oh, let me be neutral to positive, and then there, triggered above a prior high. That's when you get, positive. And then all of a sudden, how would we handle 1940-ish or 52-ish? Went above it. There was that Friday volatility, and then we closed strong. So the question is, where were you during this move? Were you short? Were you long? Were you on the sidelines? Were you looking, obsessing on the Twitter sphere about what everyone else had to say, but your own ideas, your own conviction? Or, did you participate in a way that makes you feel comfortable? I kept hearing everywhere, oh my goodness, the head and shoulders pattern in the Qs. It's going to be a disaster. It's going to create a disaster for Apple also. Go to the Qs. We talked about this. I posted it. You could check it out. It's time-stamped, somewhere in the Twitter sphere where, I tried to show you how this huge head and shoulders pattern was not one, as the right shoulder got negated, and maybe the same thing was going to happen all the way up here. When you had this potential head and shoulders pattern, the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, was support going to hold? Was the 50-day going to stay intact? Or was all the headline grabbers going to be right? Okay, we triggered above 95.90. That was your spot to cover, your spot to switch some gears. And then here we are. You'll be reading the papers at home talking about, 15-year highs or 2014 highs. And now everyone's going to be talking about the road to NASDAQ 5,000. Anyway, in my 2014 thesis, I talked about the potential of NASDAQ 5,000 I put a 2-year time horizon out just in case that it didn't happen quick, considering we had to absorb last year's gains, and I wanted people just to continue to stay glass half full. That's why I also put S&P 2000 price target, maybe not this year, because I thought the gains would be tough after 30% plus move in the S&P. But anyway, you know, that's the cues. So let's go back to Apple, which I just mentioned. About a week or so ago, I talked about this pattern here. You know what? I am not an expert, guys. I'm sorry to say. I am just a technician. And doesn't this pattern look a little bit like this pattern, right? This pattern looked like a nice move from the gap up. You had a big move, corrective phase, descending channel. Was it going to get back on its game? Oh, look at that. It happened. So this pattern right here, doesn't this look familiar? Familiar to this one? On top of a 50-day moving average, red dog reversal down here for an entry at 94.10. And then when this cleared this descending channel, what happened? Maybe that could happen again. I remember on this day, I started buying and I bought calls, and everyone was telling me that BK, I'm not going to tell you who he is if you know him and you follow him, he was getting short. Red dog, be careful. BK is now short Apple. I think he's been short for the last 2 years. Anyway, now there's that move in Apple, and we'll see. Maybe this week we tag the 100 plus mark, and that's what we talked about, iPhone to head right here when it actually added value. And now everyone's pretty much calling for it, so we'll see what happens. So with that being said, I put out a play today to potentially be long Tesla. Did it work? For about a minute, or maybe 3. And then it got weaker and it didn't go, and I got out of it and I lost on the trailing end. But at least I'm saying if a momentum trade doesn't work, get the hell out of the way, in French, meaning try again another time. Don't stay in there because you never know where it's going to go. And with Tesla, it's had a big move. It's absorbed some negative, headlines about the consumer reports, this and that, blah, blah, blah. This is when it acted really well on earnings. And then here it started to consolidate in front of a breakout level, which was 265-ish. And today, early on, it tried to break out. So what did Red Dog do? I had a strategy saying if Tesla were to break above 265-ish with authority, and what does authority mean? Think to yourself, okay, if you were sitting around with your kid at the table asking the name, what does authority mean? Authority means conviction. Authority means power. Authority means doesn't look back. Those are my little, I guess, definition of authority. Well, it didn't. It broke out and it whimpered and it stayed there. And chances are when you could buy as much Tesla as you want, you don't want it. So with that being said, your little birdie on your shoulder, your little trading voice should have said, I need to be a little careful there. It might not be Tesla day. It might not be Tesla week. I tried it, maybe made a little bit of money on the push, and then use a stop. So anyway, you go back to Tesla and you look at the chart, and this went early, tried to get above 265.64, and it created a small little red dog reversal, but this way, that way. So does it mean it's game over? Does it mean go out short the boat, the house, the electric fence? Tesla electric fence, I'm so smart. Anyway, no, it meant, it's not ready for momentum. So if you're not in it from here, or you're not in it from when it cleared this nice little price point, and you were playing for a move above 265, you don't stay in it, and you get out and you wait and see if this day means anything, because it might not. And that's Tesla right now. Netflix, we posted that chart on Friday, and that one actually gave you the 2-day trade. It gave you a nice breakout above 455 and gave you an extra 8 points today, day and a half trade. So does it mean you have to sell it? No, I sold it because that was my 2-day trade that I liked, and now I'll figure it out. Just because I sold it doesn't mean you have to sell it. No, it means I took the trade, and Netflix is tricky to trade, and it wound up being another nice 2-day trade on top of this 2-day trade. And now you have the highs in front of it, so you'll figure it out. Google, unfortunately, I didn't go back to. Last week we had a nice trade when it cleared this 578, and now it looks like it's acting better. Does it mean it's going to be back in new highs very soon? No, but does it mean that you had a level that held going sideways and then it cleared this lower pivot and had a little follow through after holding the moving averages? Yes. So now you'll see what goes on next. Facebook, still hanging out, closed relatively well. Maybe, just maybe, it'll give you 2 days in a row. Maybe. Did I say maybe? I did say maybe. Red Dog, did you say maybe? I did say it. Okay, anyway, above 74, 72, maybe it goes higher for 2 days in a row. We haven't had 2 days in a while. Twitter also. Still looks good. Still lethargic. Still not much follow through intraday, but it's getting tight again, and maybe it extends. What price does it have to extend above? 44.40. As far as LinkedIn, opened up negative, still looks green. Maybe after a setup, maybe. I'm saying maybe a lot. Anyway, it's been a big move. I would just avoid for a little while. YELP actually continues to step higher after triggering above this nice little level here and cleared this resistance, and it's on its way back to this area. Looking pretty solid, I guess. YAHOO, guys were talking about it pre-market, and it broke above a level. Now it needs to hold that level, looking pretty good. So YAHOO could be on the radar for some higher prices. eBay really not doing much, just nothing really to report there. Some probably are saying it's going to have a head and shoulders pattern with the left shoulder, the head, this being the right shoulder, and then perhaps this on the 200-day being the neck. Who knows? We'll see what happens there. As far as biotechs, hey, look at that little move in the biotechs. What happened last week? We triggered above 252. That was your price point. Remember last time this group corrected below the 21-day, went all the way to the 200-day. What happened this time? Oh, look at that, held well above while the Russell got a little beat up. So that showed you relative strength, and boom, last week or so the bios have been the place to be, and we talked about this 252, and hopefully you made some good money. Lots of times we've talked about GILD being best in breed, and it got above 100. Congratulations to all of you who bought those options with RD and some of the rest of them. About a month ago, everyone was saying, you know what, let's buy some long-term options because at some point it should go. Well, there it went, and hopefully you made some good money. Lots of the bios also did that along the way. This other stock we've been trading, GWPH, looks pretty good. Definitely whippy, not the easiest. It's a little bit speculative, but here is when it broke out above this little area. Now it's holding in there relatively well. Maybe tomorrow it triggers above 93.47 and goes. I have some $100 calls. I'm long a little stock. We'll see what happens. At this point, there's been some commitment to it, so maybe there's something good out there. That ARWR, also some talk that within the next 4 weeks they're going to present some data, and hopefully it's from the plus side because a lot of us are playing it that way. I'm in options, not trading stock. And what else? The banks woke up a little bit today. I had to. Everyone was on my case to buy a little Bank of America, so I bought a little bit because it's been so good to us over the course of the past few years. First green day. Maybe it continues. So, to wrap it up, nice day in the market today if you were long and not just rolling up shorts looking for a top. And hopefully you're participating. There's 2 weeks left of the summer. You have Labor Day coming up. You have beautiful weather here in the Northeast. I would think that enjoying it would be better than not being planned, not having a right system to try and participate in the market, because there's been stuff to do if you want to do it, and if you want to do it in a way that fits your risk tolerance and hopefully fits your style. Stop trying to copy everyone else's styles. If you're trying to find your way and you're following hundreds of people on Twitter to try and give you that edge, they're not going to give you an edge. It's going to create noise in your head that takes you away from your game. What you should do is learn technicals, learn how to follow patterns, trends, get an execution system with a tier system so you could get in, get out, trim and trail, feel comfortable. And then if you find some like-minded people out there that happen to have some of the same ideas that can give you the conviction to participate and execute and maybe give you some fuel to add some more shares and hold things longer so you can make more money, then you start that. And with all that said, I hope you enjoyed today's recap. I'll see you tomorrow morning with Brittany, and maybe if she loses a bet, she might come up with some funny saying too. Goodbye.